Japan isn't about who's fastest, it's about who can actually drive the car the limit.
Not this year, it's about who has the most battery.
Wow, way to kill the fun.
I mean, that's just a fact.
Yeah, and that's Push to Talk, hard facts, latest news, and maybe an opinion or two.
Well, you know this about Suzuka, right? It's a really rhythm based track. It's not about the braking markers placed or a template that the drivers need to follow. It's about who has the most skill to carry speed through the corners.
Drivers rely on feel, which means the grip, the balance they have in the car, and the confidence in themselves. The first sector, with the S curves, it's so flowy and mistakes compound quickly. But you have played it on the sim, right?
I've really learned it the hard way on the sim. It's a really challenging track, and just like you said, a single mistake, even on the first part of the S curve, will compound drastically and it'll affect your entire sector. Drivers need to push it hard to the limit without making any mistake.
This isn't a track you attack, it's one you build into, and that's why I feel it's going to separate the rookies from the legends.
It's going to be different. Normally, Suzuka just reshuffles things in the order, but this year I think it'll exaggerate the gaps that are already existing.
There's fewer heavy braking zones compared to Australia and China, which means there's less natural energy recovery through the corners.
There'll be more reliance on battery deployment through the corners. Drivers may need to lift and coast throughout the race, even on the other parts of the track. Maybe even the straights, which will compromise their pace.
To add to that, it's a narrow track, which means overtaking is difficult and qualifying becomes super critical.
In case you haven't noticed, there's going to be a chance of rain on Saturday, which makes qualifying a really interesting session.
I think it's going to be utter chaos and small mistakes will lead to big consequences. And looking at the Pirelli allocation for the weekend, this is a high degradation track, and if not the most, it's one of the most tire stressing tracks on the whole calendar, and it just puts a whole lot of lateral load on the tires.
Which is why Pirelli has allocated the hardest of the range, the C1, C2, C3. And just like you said, this track also features one of the fastest corner of the season, the 130R. The drivers take it at full throttle at the end of a straight, going almost about 300 km/h an hour.
130R is one of the most enjoyable corners to watch a driver take, and now that Alonso has a kid, do you think he's going to break into that corner?
I don't think he needs to brake, the car is just slow.
Wow. We've spent the whole season talking about battery, but this might be the first race where tires actually matter again.
I really miss those days when teams were really struggling to find the right tire, the race being shuffled just because of a poor tire management. Wow, I want to see it coming again.
At the end of the day, it's going to be a balance between energy deployment and tire preservation, which really makes it a little different than the previous races. But talking about the field expectations, I don't see a major change expected in the pecking order. What do you think?
Maybe not. Since it's going to be a wet qualifying session, we might see some really interesting surprises on Saturday, but a dry race will put things back to normal, and the track characteristics will likely reinforce the current gaps. However, I really hope to see Ferrari really use their upgrades to close the gap into the front.
I heard they're bringing their Macarena wing. I just hope to see they keep it over the whole weekend and not just a practice session.
They really need to keep it for the full weekend if they want to close the gap to Mercedes.
And for McLaren, it's not even about upgrades, it's all about reliability. And I just hope, for his own sake, finally Oscar Piastri can start a Grand Prix this year.
Even Red Bull is bringing a lot of aero upgrades and cooling fixes, and they've also dismissed the fact that the car is 20 kilos overweight, saying it's just a rumor. And I hope this upgrade from Red Bull will help Max clinch his 5th consecutive win at Suzuka, which makes him equal with Senna and Hamilton.
Honestly, a wet qualifying means that I'm gonna bet all my money on a Max Verstappen pole. What's your pole prediction?
I'm gonna bet my money on Hamilton. Given that the car is really quick, he can make the difference to get the pole on a wet qualifying.
Even if the car isn't the strongest, this is still a track where drivers make all the difference. Japan usually gives us answers. This year, it might just show us who actually understands the car. You've been listening to Push to Talk, and we'll see you very soon. Bye for now.